Greetings, Bat Family. Welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. And if you're a fan of the show and you do want to support us, you can do that on Patreon. No pressure as always, but you can go to patreon.com/Holy BatCast. And as always, a big thank you to our patrons who keep helping us out, supporting the show, makes things so much nicer, so much easier, and I hope you know we appreciate you. We really do. We're part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm your Bat host, Andy. You can find me on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. So this episode, we got a little bit of news we got to get out of the way at the beginning, but mostly we're talking about Batman Caped Crusader Season 2. Last week, you were like, there's a new Batman show. Why aren't you covering it? I'll tell you why. Because I wasn't allowed to. Someone forbade me from covering it on the show until they could join. So I don't know who I could be talking about, but you're about to hear from him. He's back. He's been out a little bit, but he is back, and he demanded to be here to talk about Caped Crusader. It's Brendan. Hey, Brendan.
Well, I asked if you could do me a favor and wait till I was back to talk about it.
No, you said under penalty of death. I've got the receipts.
How are you, my friend? It's good to be back.
You know, I'm here. I'm all right. I'm another year older.
You are.
No wiser. No richer. Thanks. Appreciate that. But, you know, can't complain too much. I got a beautiful wife and 2 beautiful kids, and everything else is gravy.
Yeah, it gets to that point. I mean, yeah, beautiful wife, 2 kids. I'm the same. I had a bit of surgery last week, which knocked me out for last week's episode, which is very good episode, by the way. It was very enjoyable.
Oh, thanks.
But
shout out Mike Jamison.
Yeah, Mike did a great job too. It was great to finally hear. Put a voice to the face, if that makes sense.
I know, right?
That was
you better look out for your job there,
That was
Brendan.
a really enjoyable episode. I enjoyed listening to that while I was resting up in bed. So I'm still on a week off work, recovering, but feeling a little bit more human now. So we jump.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Talk some
glad you're recovering.
Thank you.
Yeah, talk a little Batman for a change. On the Holy BatCast. No, last week was fun. It was great having Mike here, and so yeah, we keep on rolling along. Before we get to Caped Crusader, let's talk about the current state of the DC studio slate, the slate state, shall we call it? I want a theme song. It's the DC studio slate state with Andy and Brandon.
You use that. Just clip that.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. I'm multi-talented. I can talk and I can do whatever the hell that was. Anyway, because this just dropped today, I thought it was worth a mention. And it's not about the specific news, but it's more about the overall
implications.
Yeah, implications. Thank you. Of like what this means moving forward. And so today, Variety, of all people, published that the Amanda Waller series and the Wonder Woman prequel Paradise Lost are no longer happening. They're no longer in quote unquote active development at DC Studios. And if you forgot there was a Wonder Woman prequel series called Paradise Lost coming, I don't blame you, because I don't think it's been mentioned since the initial announcement of Phase 1 Gods and Monsters. Waller, I feel like, has gotten some mentions over the years, but nothing real. And so I guess to start, this is not a shocker because, again, neither of these have been in the conversation with DC Studios really since that first announcement. So on a surface level of like, oh, these 2 aren't happening. Yeah, I'm not exactly shocked and I'm not exactly heartbroken. That's fine, I guess. How do you feel?
Pretty much the same. Like, I mean, I don't need a Waller show. Like, to me, Amanda Waller is someone who does what she has done so far in this new and the old DCEU, which is she just pops up occasionally, you know, causes some shit, and our main characters have to deal with it. Yeah, I don't need a whole series about Waller. Like the way she's used in oh my god, I'm so blanking. Forgive my foggy brain. Yes, thank you.
Peacemaker.
And Peacemaker, like that's perfect. That's really all you need from Amanda Waller is she's that kind of she's an important character, but she's a secondary character. Like even in Suicide Squad, like yeah, she's kind of the MacGuffin in a way. Like she sets them up, and then you're not following her. You don't want to follow her. The other characters reacting to her is interesting, but yeah, I don't need a whole show just on Waller.
Well, she's such a good like added element to DC stories. I love her. I think Viola Davis, I've said it 100 times, she's amazing in the role. I think she's so good. But yeah, like she is a great added element to pop up in other stories, other movies, other shows. Like it's great. But I never could see what a Waller series could be, except to imagine sort of a Suicide Squad series that just happened to be called Waller. And if that was what it was, that could be really fun. Her enlisting random supervillains or underloved characters into her machinations, that could have been pretty cool. But yeah, it's I love her in the role, and I don't I don't want to see her go away, but I also never needed a Waller series. No. And same thing like Paradise Lost, where it's like, listen, I love Themyscira, but if Wonder Woman's not in it, I'm a lot less interested anyway.
Yes. Which seems to be the DCEU problem at the moment, which you guys touched on last episode, and I'm pretty sure the episode before and the episode before and everything. It's like all the adjacent things. Like, I don't want adjacent. I want the thing. Like, give me Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Yep. Right. Don't give me Themyscira before Wonder Woman. Just give me Wonder Woman. Don't give me. Don't give me a Batman villain without a Batman. Yeah. Although I'm still excited about it. Don't get me wrong. But yeah,
going back to the DCEU, for example, after the success of that first Wonder Woman movie, if they'd said we're going to do a HBO show in Themyscira with some of the lead characters that we saw from that movie, but Diana's not going to be in it because she's on Earth or whatever, I'd have been down for that. But because we know Wonder Woman's there, like, we've established that and we've got the established world. I don't need a TV show, to get me excited about a potential future movie with the character who we'd want to see in the TV show anyway.
Yeah, agreed. So not heartbroken by either of these cancellations, much like I wasn't heartbroken about the Authority not moving forward. What else was there?
Everyone, the Authority.
The Authority didn't move forward. These two didn't move forward. Booster Gold seems to be dead for the moment.
That's a shame, because that's a character that could, again, maybe, what would you say, C-list character, but one that has a lot of potential that's never been tapped in live action before.
Yeah. So, nothing that has gone away has really broken my heart. There's been no talk of Swamp Thing. And I would love to see that. But I'm very mixed on oh my God, I'm blanking on the director's name. And he did the last Indiana Jones. What the heck was it?
I know exactly what you mean.
I'm blanking. I'm so sorry.
Well, mate, we're in our 40s. We've had blanking moments, and we're not even 10 minutes in. Mangold?
There you go, James Mangold. Thank you. You got it. Mangold, I'm very mixed on him anyway. So again, like, I would love some more Swamp Thing. I would love a Swamp Thing movie, but again, it's been super quiet. So who knows if that's ever going to happen. So that leads me to the greater point, is that although none of these quote unquote cancellations or things that aren't moving forward particularly break my heart, the things that I am most excited about still seem to be on the field. Obviously, Superman, love Superman. I like Supergirl. Lanterns comes out this week, and I'm actually really excited about it, which is what we'll talk about next week. Man of Tomorrow's coming our way. I'm excited for Clayface. And Brave and the Bold, they keep saying is coming. So if that's still real, like, those are things I'm all still really looking forward to. So the stuff I am most invested in still is in play, which is great. So it's not that. It's more just, hey, this is what happens when you come out at the beginning and go, hey, here's our 10 projects that we're doing. And then 3 years later, it's like, psych, half of those are dead. And it it doesn't look good. It's bad optics. It's frustrating. And so I just feel like maybe we need to learn from this. And both sides of the street have been guilty of it now. DC, obviously, it's happened a lot
Yes.
over the years, previous universe, and now this universe too. But it's happened plenty at Marvel too, where they're like, I mean, obviously Blade is the biggest one, but
Yeah.
there have been plenty of things that were paid off, or excuse me, that were set up but never paid off in the MCU, where they get ahead of themselves, and it's like, you know what? Can't we just like rein it in a little bit? And I'm not saying don't tell us anything. We're nerds. We want to hear this stuff, but like, let's make our announcements like deliberate and a little more well reasoned of stuff we believe is actually going to happen. Because that first slate, there was cool stuff in there, there was weird stuff, and then there was stuff that made you go, really, what?
Yes.
um
Yes.
and it felt almost like a shotgun approach of like, we're going to do all these things, and then reality sets in, and now we're not doing at least half of them. Whereas if it had been like, you know what, we're doing Superman and we're going to follow it up with Supergirl, and then we got Batman coming your way,
Yeah.
and then more to
I
come,
was
right?
thinking about that this morning when the news broke and we were in our group chat, and I'm like, again, hindsight, but they should have just been like, look, we're going to start the universe with Superman. We're going to focus on Superman and Supergirl. Lanterns will be coming to HBO Max, and then Batman, Wonder Woman, whatever will be a little bit further down the line. That's all they needed to say. I don't. They feel that they have the need to come out, swinging their dick at the start to like make these big announcements. But it's just like, as you said, if they'd have come out and said, we're doing a Flash movie, a Wonder Woman movie, a Green Lantern TV show, like Batman, and then Nightwing, like all these big projects and stuff, you'd be like, holy shit. But as you said, the announcement, what was it, 2022, 2023?
I thought it was 23. I thought it was like
23,
January 23 is my recollection.
Yeah, like a lot of it.
Or was it 22?
A lot of it just left you scratching your head because you're just like,
I know it was post the Batman, so I think it was a year later.
You're like,
January 23.
Who the F is the authority? Like, who?
Yeah. And why is this a priority?
Yes. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, it was very much a mixed bag from the start. And look, I know James Gunn, it's very popular at the moment to make him the whipping boy for literally everything on the internet at the moment. I don't hate anything that has been released. That was like Creature Commandos was the big, like, you were launching with Creature Commandos. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, who gives a shit? I mean, look, it was a fine show, but why are you putting that front and center? Like, seriously. Yeah, but like the big ticket items, like Superman, loved it, absolutely loved it. Supergirl, I enjoyed to a point. We talked about that last time I was on. Lanterns looks really good. I'm excited for it, and I'm looking forward to Man of Tomorrow. So in terms of, and Peacemaker, I guess people tend to forget about it, but it's because it's that weird. It's got the foot in.
It's straddling the line.
It's got the foot in two universes. But again, it was good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I mean, at least the ones that survived are the ones that I was the most excited about.
Yes.
But it's the James Gunn of it all, and I like James Gunn, I do. But sometimes he can get in his own way, and I think this is a perfect example of that. Of like, he was given the keys to the store, and he's like, "Well, I'm not just making meat and potatoes. You're getting ho-hos. You're getting baby carrots. You're getting freaking A&W root beer." And it's just like, yeah, but all these things don't necessarily go together.
Yeah, I do think genuinely, bro, his heart is in the right place.
Absolutely.
And that's why I find it hard to begrudge the guy, because it's like, dude, you're really trying, and it's clear that you're passionate about these things. It's clear that you want to shine a spotlight on characters that haven't had it before. You want to give us as much as you can of everything, and that's great, but just pump the brakes a bit. It's a lot. And as we were saying in the chat, like, yes, things fall apart in Hollywood and stuff all the time. It's not a big deal, but like I said, when you come out swinging that dick 3 years ago, and the fact that it's happened at least 2 more times with this brand and this company, the optics are terrible.
Yeah, because all it does is go, okay, y'all didn't learn anything. We're doing this all over
Yes.
again,
And it's so
and we
frustrating.
just lived through 10 years of this, and it just feels like deja vu. And so yeah, there's a happy medium that I wish they would find of like announce things when announce things that you're confident in that will get the excitement, and then you know what, some of those random other things that nobody was lining up for the authority anyway, but if the planets aligned and you ended up putting an authority project into the pipeline and it was going to happen for real, then it's like, oh, and surprise, we're doing this thing, we're doing an authority 8 issue, or not 8 issue, an 8 episode miniseries or
Yeah.
something, right? And you go, oh, that's cool and weird, right? But like by announcing all that at the beginning and then watching them fall off one by one by one, it shows a lack of confidence. And so then we as fans and consumers, like it drops our confidence and excitement too. So I just wish that they were a little do it in a little more moderation. um but you'll notice that like so many of these projects that have gone away have all been television projects.
Yeah.
And I do think that that plays a big role in it too, because like Marvel is majorly throttling back their television
Mm.
or streaming Marvel content. And now it seems like DC is going to do the same. And I did see a report, but I don't know where it's from because it wasn't in the Variety article, but is that was the intentional choice, is that they want to focus more on theatrical films and less on TV. And this was part of that. Take that with a grain of salt. Again, I don't know where it came from, but I saw it in one of the many repostings of this news, is that was the intentional strategy shift of like, oh, they're moving away from so many shows so they can focus more on the big screen, which again, I am fine with
Mhm.
that. In fact, I like that because too many shows dilutes the brand, as we have seen with Disney Plus and the MCU. You can have too much of a good thing. Like one live action show, one animated show is plenty a
Mhm.
year, in my
Yeah.
opinion, right? That's plenty. And a movie or two. So I think that if that is truly the strategy, that is smart. And I think that's okay. I also wonder, based on what you just said and what we have said offline, and we've mentioned it here on the show, of like, we need a stronger foundation for this DCU before you start doing things like the Authority and Creature Commandos and Waller, and I've said it a few episodes now. It's like, hey, how about the Trinity? Here's a crazy thought. Why don't we get the Trinity?
Yep.
Um, and I do wonder if the failure of Supergirl has caused a reassessment of like, yeah, you know what? Maybe we do need to rethink the strategy because people aren't buying into the random yet because they don't trust the universe
Mm-mm.
yet. We need to get them totally on board with the universe. And Superman was a great step one. That was 2 steps forward, but then Supergirl was 1.5 steps back. And so it's like, no, we need to maybe be a little more deliberate in building this foundation before we can do the weird, fun stuff that we know James Gunn loves to do.
Yep. Yep.
And that's complete speculation, but honestly, I hope that's the case. I hope that they go, listen, Supergirl didn't work. That's fine. Let's take our licks. It's okay. How do we look at the plan and set ourselves up for success? And Man of Tomorrow feels like a really great step in the right direction, but we have no idea what comes after Man of Tomorrow.
No. There's nothing.
And it's none of these things that apparently have been canceled.
Mm.
So very curious as to what that might mean. And then there's the other speculation of, does this somehow all tie up into the WB Paramount merger? Are they essentially putting everything on hold until that merger goes through and then they figure out what happens next? I hope to God that's
No,
not the case,
can't
because
go through another freaking yeah. But not different universe was canceling that. It's like, come on, like, yeah. Look, if something like that
yeah,
were to happen, I I would be at the point where it's like, I no longer care about a shared universe. Just give me, just keep David Corenswet as Superman, make Superman movies with him, make Batman movies over here with this guy, give me a cool Wonder Woman movie. I don't give a shit if they're connected. Like, let's just make good movies. But yeah, I mean, who knows what I mean, not to get ahead of ourselves, but like, the thing we'll be talking about shortly, like, all the creators of that have said, like, we're ready to go with a season 3. Like, we're all here for it, but we don't know if it's going to happen. Like, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't feel like it's any need to panic. This stuff happens. It's for me, it's more of just voicing my annoyance with like, it didn't have to happen this way because you got ahead of yourselves and now you got to look like an asshole because you're like, oh, just kidding. Those things that we said we were going to do, we're not going to do anymore. Like, so maybe just don't do that anymore.
Being a DC
You know?
fan at the moment for you, this is as close as you will ever experience to like following that sports team that just can't ever seem to, they won a championship, 20 years ago. they were the best team out there 20 years ago, and they just cannot get out of this funk. And occasionally they'll have a good win, they might make it to the playoffs, but they never, they never win the grand final. They never win the championship. And that's what it's like being a DC fan at the moment. Like, it's just like, can we just have a win, please? Can we just give us something? And at the moment, Superman was, we made it to the semis, and then we shit the bed again with Supergirl. Oh, well, there's always next season, and that's Man of Tomorrow. So
well, and you know what? It's all so exacerbated because it is DC.
yes.
It's taken to task even more because of DC and because of the past 10 years and everything. And so, it just makes it worse, which sucks because then even within DC fandom, there's this split because there's half of DC fandom that is like rooting for Gunn to fail. And then there's the other half, the side that we're on, where we want to see him succeed. We want this universe to succeed. And so, when stuff like this happens and I see people out there being like, good, stupid James Gunn, I mean, it sucks that even DC fans can't all get on the same page.
And it's like, not wanting to derail this too much, but just going back to the episode you did with Mike, looking at Suicide Squad, and it kind of feels like we're back there in that, remember, not everyone liked Man of Steel, and it was like, but BVS, like that's the one, like that's going to get everyone in line, and then that didn't work, and but it was but Suicide Squad, like that's the one that's going to bring this all together, and everyone's going to love it. And then that didn't happen. And it's but Justice League, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like,
I do.
It kind of feels like we're back there in like, but Man of Tomorrow, that's the one. That's the. I'm just like, I'm so tired, Andy. I'm so tired.
I know. I am the same, and I don't blame you. It's nuts. But anyway, we shall see. Here's the thing. Here's final thought with Jerry Springer. There you go. There's a 90s throwback for you. I'm not mad about the cancellation of these things. No. And in fact, I think it could be a good thing if we are adjusting the plan to, build a stronger foundation. And that's what I hope is happening, because then it will all be worth it. But I also hope lessons are learned from stuff like this, and so we don't continue to do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be bad news. But the nice thing is that we know that Hollywood always learns the right lessons.
Yeah. Well, it's like, how many times do you hear directors say, and I can still remember from the special features is from Batman 89 that came out in 2005, is it Peter Goob, like one of the producers, is like, the script isn't set in stone. Like the script, it's movement, it's water, it keeps changing. Like it's not set in stone until the movie's finished and stuff. It's kind of like, well, that's true. Like movie studios don't release a script out to the public and go, this is what we're making, and then the movie's different, but that's not what you said you were going to make. So stop doing that with slates. Like the slates are malleable, they can change, things are going to fall to the wayside,
and that's fine.
That's
right.
The thing. Yeah. Just don't tell us. Just don't come out and be like, this is what we're doing, because that's where you're falling apart, because people are taking you at your word, and then when things naturally change, it looks like failure.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, I think we're on the same page, but let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something more fun, because we do have a new DC show. Well, a return of a new DC show. We got season 2 of Batman Caped Crusader. So let's dive into the first 2 episodes. So for this, we did want to talk about the first 2 episodes because what I said to Brendan offline, and I'm just going to share it with all of you because I'm honest with my listeners. I tell you guys what's up. Is I was like, well, remember season 1? Anytime there was a week where we didn't know what to do, we were like, well, let's do 2 more episodes of Cape Crusader. We can do that again. So right now we're going to do the first 2, kind of, and that'll lead to thoughts about season 2. But then, yeah, we can come back to it and do additional episodes over the next month or 2 or however long until we eventually do them all, because that's what we did with season 1. And I thought that worked. So we've got episode 1, Brute Force, and episode 2, Rocket's Red Glare. Before we get into the actual episodes, though, Brendan, I know that you were very much looking forward to the return of Cape Crusader, and you demanded to be on the episode.
I politely requested.
So,
okay.
How you doing?
So look, what was it, 4 weeks ago now, whatever it was, when you had Sean on, and you were talking about Cape Crusader and how he said he hadn't seen it, and like, I was driving listening to you guys talk about it. And you're like, oh, like, I'm sort of looking forward to it. I'm not excited about it like I would be, a movie or anything. I'm in the car going, F you, I am so excited. Like, I was literally counting down the days. Like, I could not wait for season 2. I loved season 1 of this show. It is, I think I said it when we reviewed it 2 years ago, like, I think this might be my favorite animated Batman after the animated series. Like, I really, really enjoy it. And you and I have had some conversations offline about it. And you,
let me pause for a second, because I feel like you know, and go back and check the tape. I think you were putting some words in my mouth. I didn't say that. But what I did say is, Sean's like, yeah, I never watched it. I didn't think it was for me. And I said, it's good. You should watch it.
No, yeah.
But I think that I think that my muted excitement, you then took in.
Yeah. It was your muted excitement for season 2, whereas I was like, I've been psyched for season 2. Like, the second they announced a date, and then we got that first trailer, and I'm all in. Like, I was so pumped for it. But like, for me, the thing with this, I mean, yes, they do, pardon me, they do different takes on things, and this all folds into what you were talking about last week about there not just being a straight Batman show, like everything's got to be a take. I think the reason why that doesn't bother me with this show is for every take they do on a villain or a secondary character or whatever, they always get Batman. They just nail Batman. Like, this Batman is awesome. Like, I really like the sort of early 1940s noir feel to it. It's like there's no technology, like it's all bare bones, like there's no computer in the Batcave, stuff like that. The setting makes it different automatically. But yeah, like I know it as we go along with the episodes and stuff, like, and I'm sure you'll have issues with some of the villains and things they did with it, and that's fine. And that's, I'm not an idiot. Like, I get it. I just don't bump up against it as much as you do in this show. Because yeah, like I said, they just continue to get Batman so right. And there's so many fist bump moments with Batman in this show. And I genuinely really, really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, showed my hand a little bit on the last episode where I said, I'm enjoying it for what it is, but I have to be like, I have to just accept it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And for me, I hate that I have to do that, but that's where I am, is I'm enjoying watching it. Some of the things and the changes they make, I go, oh, that's kind of fun. That's kind of clever. And some things I'm like, what are you even doing now? Like, what are you guys doing? And that's a bummer, because for the most part, I like it. I just feel like, go back and listen to the end of the last episode. We're just living in this world where it's like, nope, I know better than 80 years of Batman history. I'm going to change all this. Everything you love, I'm going to change it. How about now? You still love it? Because I changed everything you liked, but it's still called that. You like it? No, I don't. You didn't need to do that.
And look, for what it's worth, and back, because I totally, just for the record too, listening to that episode. Like, I totally agree with what you and Mike were talking about. I'm 100% on the same page as you guys. Like, I love this show. I'm not going to sit down and watch it with Henry, who's 5, particularly season 2. Yeah, like, I mean, I've been watching more and more Batman the Animated Series with him, and he's really liking it. But I'm not going to sit down and watch Cape Crusader with him, which sucks because I should be able to.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm enjoying it, but I just have to like put my mind, put myself in the mindset of like, listen, you know what? They're changing everything, and you just got to roll with it. I mean, and I'd even somewhat argue of like they get Batman so right. Close enough is what I would say. Not so right. I mean, he's still kind of a dick to Alfred. I thought we left that behind in season 1, but that's
honestly,
still a thing.
That's one of my big complaints for season 2. Is he's back to calling Alfred Pennyworth, and he seems to have softened on him a little bit, but he's not. Yeah, it's not where it left off in season 2, and that criticism where criticism's due, that didn't need to happen, and that bugs me.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I like the animation, I like the look, I like the vibes. I think it's it's cool, and it is fun to watch and let it wash over me. I just think that they're overthinking it and just making a lot of unnecessary changes just so they can pat themselves on the back. Go, look how clever I am. Look, isn't that cool? What if the Riddler doesn't tell riddles? Aren't I clever? And no, you're not. So anyway, Cape Crusader episode 1 is called Brute Force. It's our reintroduction to this world. And the one thing that I did like as a change between season 1 and season 2 is the title card.
I was just about to jump in if you weren't going to mention it. Yes. Yeah.
And the title cards I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think those are really cool. And like at the bottom where it's like made in Hollywood, yes. USA. Yeah.
Again, with that 1940s feel, like it's just, the aesthetic's great. Like regardless of what they do with the characters, the aesthetic, and I mean, it's a beautiful show to look at.
Yes, I dig the animation, I dig the look, and I love that. The irony is it is not made in Hollywood, USA. It is made in Korea. Like, watch the credits and all the animator names, they're Korean. But I dig it. And it feels very much like a throwback to Fleischer's Superman, which I think that was, they even said that with season 1, that was intentional, but I dug that. I think that's cool.
Yep. No, the title card's great.
Yeah, so I dig that. But like, speaking of reinventions, one of the first characters that we meet in this season is this version of the Mad Hatter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, they gender swapped the Mad Hatter. We knew that from the trailer and the promotional images. That doesn't bother me as much, but she's not really the Mad Hatter. She's a Fox News reporter. That's what they decided to make the Mad Hatter a right-wing television pundit. So that's a choice.
Yeah. I mean, with the gender swap thing, like, I couldn't care with the Mad Hatter, yeah. To me, with that sort of stuff, it's a fine line. Like, if you do it to the Joker, like, then I might have some issues. But yeah, some of the other, like even in season 1, the Penguin didn't bother me. Like that
me either.
Was badass.
I enjoyed that, and I think I even said it then is like, there's just not as many Batman female villains anymore. So what if the Penguin was a woman? I was willing to roll with that. So I don't mind the gender swap as much either. It's more just like, oh, is she really the Mad Hatter at this point? Probably not. She wears a hat, but otherwise she's just on TV, But this episode in the season does pick up where the last one left off, which is Thorn. So Thorn is kind of like the ongoing story here where, he's in prison after the end of season 1, and now his gang is still out there, and it is being run by Eddie Nigma. And at this point, they do not call him the Riddler yet. I've only watched up through episode 3, but I think episode 3 is the first time they say Riddler.
Okay. Yep.
Right?
I think from memory, yeah. I have watched all 10, but I rewatched 1 and 2 before we recorded today. So, yeah.
Oh, you watched all 10?
Yeah, I've watched all of it. I do.
All right. Well, you're home recovering.
I was
so you
excited. Like I'd watched it before the operation. We watched like 2 or 3 episodes a day till we were through it.
Well, there you go. Anyway, so Eddie wears a green suit, purple glasses, purple tie. I for the most part, I like his look. It definitely is a little, it's more downplayed, right? Where it's like, he doesn't have question marks or anything, and he doesn't wear a mask. He just wears glasses, but they're purple tinted, so it kind of gives you that feel. But overall, I like his look. It just definitely like feels like it's the more realistic version. But at least like if I were to show that picture to anyone and go, who is that? Most people would go, oh, it looks like the Riddler. So I'll take it.
Yep.
But he's a psychopath. And any time the mood strikes him, he pulls out his Tommy gun and just starts blasting away at people, at the ceiling, at whatever. What?
I said at ceilings.
Ceilings, yeah, right. Whatever. But it starts with a bank robbery, and I don't know if you noticed this, but like there's an explosion on the bank, and it looks just like the opening. Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, so that was neat. Little nod to Batman the Animated Series there. So yeah, it's like this big opening action where Eddie and Thorne's gang, they're robbing this bank. Of course, Batman swoops in, but Eddie gets away. And I think it's probably in here where Batman grabs one of the guys and Eddie kills him. Or maybe that's later
when they try to stop
Calendar that is.
Yeah.
That's right. That's by the it's by the planes, right? Yeah, so never mind. That happens later. Spoilers. But anyway, so yes, we see like this dynamic of Eddie's kind of crazy. He's off his meds. He's very trigger happy, but he's the one who is running it. And the whole thing is that apparently the case against Thorne is pretty shaky, but it all resides on the testimony of his accountant, who has the nickname Calendar Man because he has a good memory for dates.
An eidetic memory for dates and things like that, which I'm like,
yeah,
for a character like Calendar Man, I'm fine with that. It's like I could care less about Calendar Man. Like seriously, he's not a big player, and like for a nickname, I think it works better than what they did with the Riddler. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, this is for all the people who, with the Dark Knight, that they thought that the one dude was a version of the Calculator.
Oh God, I can't even remember that.
Do you remember that? Remember the guy in Hong Kong whose name?
Oh yeah. Okay, no, I didn't realize that. No.
Yes, because he says I'm good with calculation.
Okay. He does say it just like that.
He does say that.
But yeah, like I think,
and there were fans were like, "Oh, he's a nod to the Calculator."
I thought that was a cool way to work in another character of just like, oh yeah, cool. That actually for someone like I said, for someone like Calendar Man, I can roll with that. That's nothing.
So he's this key witness. They've got to protect him because if he testimonies, they think that it's all over. And again, picking up from where we left off in season 1, Batman is working through Barbara Gordon because he has not yet really made that connection with the commissioner. And so Barbara's just getting annoyed of like, you should really just talk to my dad. Why are you talking to me? And so Batman's still kind of trying to feel all that out. So yeah, there's a scene in the Batcave of him with Pennyworth, being like, I might be on the same side as the cops, but I'm not a cop. And he still feels safer working through Barbara than actually going to Jim.
Which is fair.
Yeah. So that does then lead to another big action scene on the tarmac while Eddie and the gang try to get Calendar Man. At the same time, Batman tries to stop him. This is one of those things where like a dude gets shredded by a propeller from the airplane. And that's, so there's a lot in here, and you already alluded to it where they're definitely like, oh nope, we're mature and we're going to make sure so there's just a couple random swears, some violence, some gore, things like that.
Yeah, the swears are very minimal. Like it's not like one of the animated movies. Like from memory in the whole season, there was like a shit. I think they never got worse than that. But
and that's what I'm thinking of. I feel like that was in one of the first 2 episodes, so it's like fresh in my memory.
And there's definitely a little bit more blood, but it's not like it's not like Invincible or anything like that. Like there's a bit more blood.
Oh God, no.
But yeah, like it is particularly because I just rewatched season 1 like the week before season 2 came out. Like there is a noticeable difference there, but it's not massively jarring.
Well, and I mean, I guess that's it. Is like they do it where it's like it doesn't really add much, and you don't even have to do it. So like,
It's
why do
kind
it
of
at
like the
all?
direct, like Snyder's versions of things. How there's blood splatter
Yeah,
everywhere, and it's like, well, it doesn't need. I mean, yes, realistically, it would be there, but it had the same impact in the the Whedon version or the theatrical cut. Like,
yeah. Well, and again, like I'm not a prude. I don't care about swearing in real life, obviously. Like, but it's just like when it's in something like this where you go, if you just like remove those two words, this could just be a little more all ages appropriate, but you didn't because you just want to make sure we know that you're mature and edgy. And that's the annoyance, right? Where it's like, why you don't even need it. Like it can be just as good a story, just good an episode without it. Regardless, the calendar man survives, and so Eddie is pissed, and so he goes and he makes a deal with Hugo Strange. Now Hugo Strange was, I would say, somewhat refreshing because he just looks and acts like Hugo Strange,
and it was a surprise too because I don't think it was revealed that he. Like, no, I don't remember seeing him in any of the trailers. I could be wrong, but when he showed up, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh, cool, that's neat. Same. I don't think that they promoted him at all. And I was like, well, he seems very much like Hugo Strange, which is probably why they had to kill him.
Spoiler alert for the next episode.
So yeah, sorry about it. But I mean, if you're listening, it's the first two episodes. But anyway, Hugo Strange gives the serum to Eddie that he wants a human trial anyway, so he gives it to Eddie. And then there is this other guy who's been working with Eddie. His name is Desmond or Dez, and so he's the one who's been talking to Eddie about things as they go. Eddie also has a girlfriend who occasionally pops in. I didn't catch her name. She's pretty much like a standard
mole, whatever you want to call
Batman 66 gangster mole. Yeah. But anyway, so Eddie gets this formula. They're honestly a pretty great scene where Thorne is getting out of the shower and Batman's waiting for him.
Yes. And Thorne's definitely naked through that whole scene.
I was like, I don't need to see animated Rupert Thorne naked, but they gave it to us anyway.
Well, you only see from the waist up.
Well, there's a part where you see full body just with in a way that you don't see any of the little bits. Okay. But do you remember there was an amazing episode of, it was either Justice League or Justice League Unlimited where Waller? Batman essentially did the same to Waller.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So this reminded me of that. But yeah, like Rupert Thorne is like, yeah, you know what? You wouldn't even be here if you weren't scared. I got this. And Batman strangles him with a towel.
Because he knows he can't do anything. So, and that's when too Thorne realizes then he's like, yeah, you're not going to kill me. Like you don't have. I think he said you don't. That's why you're not going to win because you don't have the stones.
Yeah, that's right. So then Eddie takes the serum, he injects Dez with it, and Dez grows into a giant hulking creature. According to IMDb, it says Blockbuster. Yeah. So did they say it and I missed it?
Or say it, but I can't remember exactly where it is, but it says on the 2 jars of the serum, it has Blockbuster written on it.
Oh, okay. I think, yeah. So in my brain, I was like, I think it's Blockbuster, but I was waiting for confirmation and I must have been like taking notes on my phone when that happened. Because I never saw it confirmed, but it's
because the way he looks like he could have been Solomon Grundy or
yes.
Like it says on the serum Blockbuster.
Okay. Because yes, I thought the same thing. I was like, well, with this show, who knows? Maybe this is their version of Solomon Grundy. But anyway, it's Blockbuster. And so essentially Batman and Blockbuster have a big old battle. The part that stands out there is that there's a moment where Batman is just stabbing him in the chest with batarangs.
Yeah.
And eventually he stops him by running him down with his car and just slamming into him over and over and over again.
Several times, just like rams him.
So that's the solution. If you can't If you can't stop a bad guy, just run him over as many times as it takes.
But hey, it's a cartoon, so he's okay.
Yeah, I mean he's Blockbuster,
Yeah.
so he's still in his Blockbuster form. But yeah, he just keeps slamming him with the car. Until eventually Blockbuster loses consciousness and he like shrinks back down into Dez. And what's funny is, so again, I watched episodes 1, 2, and 3. Dez is very important in episode 3, which one of these days we'll get to. But I forgot that he was the one who turned into Blockbuster in episode 1.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I rewatched it because I did not make the connection. This is the problem with watching them very spaced out. And also, just the overall exhaustion of being a father of 2. So yeah, missed all that. Anyway, even though they kept Calendar Man alive, and even though he testifies, the judge still dismisses the case against Thorne because guess what? Thorne is blackmailing him, or he's on the take or something. All we know is that the judge is in Thorne's pocket, and so he dismisses the case anyway.
Yeah.
I do love the scene with Gordon and Barbara on the steps, and Montoya just being completely angry, knowing that, they were had. And then you got Flass
being a piece of shit again.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Bullock at the beginning, Bullock has been demoted, but Flass is still around. And I do appreciate that, like, Flass has to report to Montoya, but yeah, he's a complete
Which was a clever move from Gordon because, like, she even tries to say it at one point and gets interrupted by Flass. But, like, everyone knows that Flass is the dirty cop and then he's on the take. But partnering him with Montoya and giving Montoya the lead makes him, it's easy to keep an eye on him and sort of control him as best they can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Thorne's so happy he's out. He gets picked up by his son, but some guy pats him on the back and it hurts. And we get our first tease this season of the Joker. Mm-hmm. So while they're in the back of the limo, Thorne starts laughing uncontrollably. We cut to the front seat, and we see that it is the Joker driving, of course. Mm-hmm. So Thorne still got his comeuppance, even though he was let off. And then finally, there's a last little scene where Barbara gets both Batman and Gordon on the rooftop so they can talk, so she doesn't have to play the middleman anymore. And I dug that too. I liked her being that one who brings them together. And also, I'll always just take a scene of Batman and Gordon on a rooftop in front of a spotlight because it's not a bat signal yet.
No. But it very much reminded me of being set up. Like, I literally, I can remember a day when I liked a girl, we thought she liked me, a friend got us in the same place, and he's like, you two need to talk. Like, that's exactly what happened here. Barbara's like, you two need to talk. I just walked away and left them.
Yep. And there you go. That is Brute Force. So overall thoughts on this episode, and what the heck a letter grade?
I thought it was a strong start to the season. Like, it puts all the players where they need to be, and sort of gives you a taste of what the overall arc of the season will be, which is, what happens to the mob now that kind of a bit Dark Knighty, actually. Like, what happens to the mob now that the big boss is off the table? Who's going to control them? What's going to happen? You got this new guy in there who's a loose cannon. And, what impact is that going to have on everyone? How are the police going to handle, I don't want to use the word escalation, but in some ways it kind of is. Like, there's an escalation there that will continue throughout the series. And yeah, I said I didn't have an issue with the villains or anything in this one. And I thought they got Batman pretty spot on. So I liked it.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was a solid first episode. Here's the thing. Before I even started watching the new season, I read a review that kind of spoiled what was going to be the Riddler.
Okay.
So I went in already
with
knowing...
your arms folded, like, ugh.
Yeah, pretty much. Knowing what they had done. And so, it starts here but obviously it's going to continue through the whole season. And so, yeah, that's annoying. That's frustrating, especially because of how much I love the Riddler. And I was really excited because the trailer made it look like, oh, the Riddler is essentially the big bad for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Sounds good. And again, I like his look well enough. So I thought that was cool. And then to find out, yeah, but guess what? We changed everything. That's disappointing. And so you start to see it in this first episode. Obviously, it becomes more prevalent as you go, and it just stinks. And I want to know, where and when did this Riddler disrespect begin? Because I think it started with the Hush animated movie.
Right.
That was the first thing. We got that. And for some reason, that movie posits a reality where, like, well, the Riddler's a loser. Everybody thinks the Riddler's a joke. And so we're just going to make him lame. And then we're going to make him Hush. Sorry for a spoiler for a 7-year-old movie. And then you get the Batman, where he's a freaking whiny baby incel in a gimp mask.
I was trying to get through this whole episode and not mention the Batman.
So you got a stupid Riddler in Hush, you get a stupid Riddler in the Batman, and now we get this, where a Riddler who's not even a Riddler. Sure, he wears the colors, but that's it. And I'm like, why? When did we just decide, like, hey, you know who sucks? The Riddler, one of the most iconic Batman villains in history. He sucks. We're gonna change everything. Screw that, man. So it's really hard to get too excited when I know that that's what they've already done from like the moment you start. If he was, if the Riddler was actually the Riddler, I have less issue with, like you said, Calendar Man. Like, okay, like we're not going to get a season of Calendar Man. So, have this accountant and it's like a cute nod to Calendar Man. Sure, that's fine. Hugo Strange, actually pretty good. Like, right. Pretty spot on. Mad Hatter, so, but like, it's more the dominoes falling of like, yeah, this is just what it is now. All that aside, I still enjoyed it, right? Like, I still think it looks cool, and I'm invested enough in the story. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed it, but it's hard to get too in love with it, knowing what they did to the Riddler. Mm-hmm. Did you give it a letter grade?
No, I didn't.
All right.
Look, I'll say A-.
All right. Okay. I'm going to go B-.
Okay.
Because I would still recommend it. You just have to know what you're getting. Yeah. That leads us to episode 2. And episode 2 is actually like a nice little step off to the side that feels a little more self-contained. It's less about the overarching story with Thorn and Eddie and all that. It's Rocket's Red Glare, and we're revisiting a pretty minor character from Batman the Animated Series.
This is the thing, like for everything it's doing with, like, say Riddler and stuff like that, and some of the other villains that are coming up in this season. They do an episode with Roxy Rocket, who I mean, I never really gave a shit about. The episode in the new Batman Adventures is fine. Her in the comics, the Batman Adventures comics was okay, but I don't give a shit about Roxy Rocket. This episode, they do something. They change her and make her interesting. I really liked this take on Roxy Rocket, and this is the character that everyone was sort of like, is it Firefly? Is it? Yeah, it's Roxy Rocket.
Yeah. I dig that too, is that like, we didn't know who this was. We thought it was Firefly. We thought it might be someone else. Nobody said Roxy Rocket. And I like that that's who it was, because that was unexpected and pretty cool.
And she looks like the Rocketeer.
Kinda. Yeah, kinda. And I mostly agree with what you said, which we'll get into. Yeah. But yeah, like we're getting a Roxy Rocket episode. But here's the thing: we'll just start there. Is that, like, when you want to reinvent a character, Roxy Rocket is the right kind of character to do it with.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's a relatively minor character, and frankly, it's a character that never, took off the first time. And so it's like, hey, we had an idea back then, didn't quite work, didn't quite gel, never really became a thing. let's revisit that. And maybe we can try and find a way to make it work this time. And that's the right way to go about it. And for the most part, I agree with you in that I think that they succeed in that, as they took the general idea of this female supervillain who rides a rocket, which I understand why she never took off, because that's pretty limiting of like what she can do. She rides a rocket.
She was a stunt performer.
Yeah.
Worked for bad guys because no one would hire anymore because she got too crazy. Like, not the best,
Yeah.
not the best backstory.
So like it's like, oh, it never quite works. Let's revisit it. And I'm down with, and because you're certainly not messing with anything precious. Although, you know, every time I say that, the world's biggest Roxy Rocket fan will come out of the woodwork and be like, "How dare
Bruce
you?"
Timm's we're gonna get an email from Bruce Timm.
Yeah, gonna get an angry email from Bruce Timm. But like, no, like this is the kind of character you should do it with, and for the most part, I like that. So, you know, we get like a little prologue of this company called Triad, and it gets attacked by this Rocket Man or Rocket Woman. But she kicks out the security guards first so they stay safe, and then explodes a couple floors of their building, and off she goes. So that's like the little tease into the episode, is this rocket villain who is now destroying things. What I liked about this episode is we got a little bit of like Bruce Wayne and Lucius Fox action. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool. We haven't gotten a lot of Bruce, I feel like. Maybe we did, and I just haven't, you know, you rewatched season one. I did not. So
a decent amount.
I can't remember getting a lot. So it just has been a while since I've watched, but I liked seeing like Playboy Bruce Wayne, but also getting involved and meeting with Lucius. And I appreciate it. He's like, why are you working on a weekend? And Lucius is like, it's Monday. He's like, it's Monday? Like, that's pretty good. But basically like remembering that, oh, Triad came to us before, there was this explosion. I remember them. What was their deal? And it was like, oh, they were trying to peddle this super safe, amazing power source, but they wouldn't let us investigate. And so we passed on it. And so Bruce is like, you know what? Like, pull that file. I'm curious. And then he's like, and then my servant Pennyworth is going to make us popcorn, you little bitch.
But again, it's Batman using the guise of Bruce Wayne to do the detective work, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, and no, I dug that too. I thought that was cool, and it would make sense that like this big company would go to Wayne Enterprises and everything. So, and was Lucius in season one? I don't remember it.
Oh yeah, he was heavily in the not Grey Ghost, the Gentleman Ghost episode.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I remember lots about season one, but obviously not enough. Anyway, so Batman goes to like investigate the fire, and we get his glider, which I thought was pretty cool. So I dug that. He's investigating the fire, and sees that obviously something else is going on, because there's this big dude, and I'm not going to remember all these guys' names who run Triad. Sorry. There's 3 dudes who run Triad. They're all villains. Shocker. You all knew it was coming. Anyway, one of them is there with the security guard. He's like, yeah, thanks for keeping it under wraps. Obviously, Batman's like, okay, something's going wrong here. And he escapes on his glider. You know, maybe the first for a Batman animated show, but we get a newsreel that includes a child's corpse. Just for funsies. Just for funsies. But anyway, it gives a little background of like, oh, this is what Triad was up to. They were peddling this energy source and technology and space exploration and rockets, and it's all hosted by Roxy Sutton, who obviously we know who that's going to be. But yeah, she was sort of the face of this company and also their lead scientist. So she did a lot of the research and the work and the invention of all these different technologies for them. But Bruce and Lucius come back to Triad. They want to touch base, learn more about what they had forgotten. And the dude in charge of Triad's totally happy to hear them out. But he's the one who tells them, oh, Roxy's dead. She died in an accident. And so, you know, to honor her, we're still going to bring all of her great ideas and great work to life. Mm-hmm. And so their big thing is, oh, coming up later this week, we're going to do this big demo of the rocket. And was it Ultrium?
Something like that, yeah.
That's what it's called. Yes. And so Ultrium is this energy source. We're going to do this rocket. You guys need to come check it out. And so the Ultrium is being transported because we learn there's like, this is the last of it. Now, here's my big issue with this episode is like they set up this Ultrium as like this clean, sustainable energy. And then they tell us this is the last one. But like, we never learn, is it a scam? Is it real? Does it work? Where does it come from? Like, completely clueless as to like, I kept waiting for the payoff of like, what is going on with the Ultrium, and it never comes.
Okay.
Because like they were like, we can't make more, it's the last of it, and it's like, okay, so like, but is it really a clean power source? I don't know, you guys they never say it. So yeah, there's just like, there's something there that like they were like hinting at something greater that like never comes to fruition. Because like, what were they gonna do if these guys were like, great, you're right, Ultrium's amazing, we'll buy it, and they're like, there's none left. I don't understand.
I didn't even think of that, to be honest.
All right, well, great. Anyway, there's a train that is carrying this last piece of Ultrium back for this demonstration, and it is attacked by Roxy. We don't know she's Roxy yet, but come on, we all knew she's Roxy. And Batman intervenes, and so he kind of ends up in between Roxy and the people who are protecting the Ultrium, and realizes that maybe Roxy's not all bad, but there's an explosion, part of her helmet breaks away, and he can see in there that it is actually Roxy, so he realizes that she has survived. And so he goes back to her place to try and figure out what's going on, and finds her underground lair where she still is. And Roxy had been disfigured in the accident, but she said that, yeah, my old partners, they're bad news. They're going to use my stuff to do bad stuff. So I'm stopping them. I'm, destroying whatever I can so that way they can't use it for bad things, because I'm not going to be able to live with myself if all my work goes to do bad things. So we get a little flashback of how that went down. And then, the ensuing accident. So she escapes, even though Batman tries to talk her down, but there's no talking her down. She escapes. And so that leads to kind of the big finale where they're going to launch this rocket, and Roxy's going to sabotage the big demonstration. There's a pretty cool moment where Batman's like, well, I need to go stop it myself. And Alfred's like, why wouldn't you call the police? And he's like, because it's up to me. Police wouldn't be able to do it anyway.
Yeah, with her technology, I think he says like she'd cut through them like butter or something like that, because she's got these tech weapons, and
Well, and so that's what I liked about, like, so original Roxy Rocket, she was a stunt woman who rode a rocket. And again, like, it really limited her in what she could do and what sort of stories you could tell with her. And so what I really liked about this reinvention is that, she was this expert with rocket technology. So she still does ride in a rocket when she needs to, but she also has a rocket pack, and she also has a rocket gun. And so it just makes her so much more versatile in situations you can put her in, where she can be in the rocket or she can be on her own. And like, she can actually, like, she can get more involved in things. She doesn't always have to be riding a rocket. And it's just a simple change, but I thought it was really clever. And I love, like, the gun also uses rockets. I thought that was cool.
No, I dug it.
So anyway, yes, she has more technology than just a rocket. She has all this other stuff, but she's off to sabotage this launch. And Alfred goes, it's hundreds of miles away. How are you going to get there? Cut to this version of the bat plane, complete with machine guns. And so there's like a little dogfight between Roxy and the bat plane, which was actually really cool. And when this is all happening, the Triad guys are like, oh no, we got to launch now. We got to launch now. And so they launch it. And so then Roxy goes after the rocket itself. She goes to pull the Ultrium, and then the whole thing explodes. So she destroys the demonstration. She destroys I think she destroys the Ultrium.
Yeah,
yes.
So. She destroys herself.
And appears to die. I mean, in this episode, she's dead. But she can always come back.
Yeah, she rocketed out of there just in time, and Lucius Fox says there was a password in there, and Find out she survived the whole thing. She's in
See?
the south of France.
There you go. So the Triad guys go to jail. They're tried for treason. And the last moment is Bruce destroys the rest of Roxy's work. Alfred's like, are you sure this is a good idea? You know, this could be really useful. But he goes, this is what she wanted. This is what's going to happen. But there's a nice moment where, like, as it pulls away, there's a sign that says, like, coming soon, Sutton Laboratories, a Wayne Foundation project. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really neat as, like, this tribute to her that Bruce set up. And then we get that last little button on the episode. The Joker's back, and this time he's killed Hugo Strange and taken his serum.
This is where you see the blockbuster thing on the serum. I don't know if you see it in the first episode. I think it's in this one is when you see it.
All right. So there you go. That is Rocket's Red Glare. Thoughts?
Well, like I said at the start, like, they took a character that I really couldn't have given two shits about, and they made her interesting and, you know, not quite so one note, and you know, a bit of a tragic story. And she's a bad guy, but is she? Like, she's very much a sympathetic villain, because even Batman in the end, he's on her side, like, he's trying to help her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was really, really well done. The fact that they could take someone like Roxy Rocket and do this really layered, heartfelt story with her. And again, you said, like, making it just not be this woman who rides a rocket. And I mean, I don't know if it's worth mentioning or not, but, like, they made her a woman of color as well, as opposed to just like a redhead, like she was in the animated series. Yeah, and that, you know, her rocket that she rides is arguably cooler. The jetpack thing that she has is cool. Like I said, she's got that Rocketeer look about her. Like, the helmet's not a million miles away from the one the Rocketeer wears. It's, yeah, I really dug it. I thought this is one of those ones where because we'd been talking and everything, and at the end of the episode, I'm like, I hope Andy likes this one, because this is, you know, it's done the reverse of what he hates. Like, it's taken a villain and made changes that actually elevate the character. And, you know, I actually want to see more of this character, but I can't because she's dead. Yeah, I really dug it. To me, this is an A. I like this one a lot.
All right, great. No, I mean, yeah, like, I am not mad at the reinvention of Roxy Rocket, and I think that for the most part it works. I said there was one thing that doesn't quite work for me, and it's exactly what they did to Harley Quinn. They did a Harley Quinn part 2 with Roxy, is that they sucked all the fun out of her. And that was a bit of a bummer, because that was one of the fun things about Roxy, is she was a lot more, like, exuberant. She had fun and she loved riding her rocket, you know, like, and so, like, much like they were like, what if Harley Quinn, but deadly serious? What if Roxy Rocket, but deadly serious? So, I mean, but honestly, that's kind of true for the whole show. It's like, it's all deadly serious. So yeah, like, that's the one thing that didn't quite work. I liked the idea of Roxy, like, loves flying on her rocket, and here it is just that it's that tragic backstory. But I think it's a fair enough trade-off, because again, it makes her more interesting. It is easy to root for her. She's not quite a villain, and she's a much more interesting character that way. And again, just expounding on what she can do just makes her so much more, you know, interesting to watch in these situations. Yeah. So no, I enjoyed this, and I liked that it was, again, a little more standalone in this world. I liked the Bruce and Lucius back and forth. I thought that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I like this a lot better than episode 1. So for the most part, it did work for me. I thought the action was good. The dogfight, again, between the rocket and the Batplane was a lot of fun. So yeah, for the most part, I like.
Take the sting from, you know, the tease at the end away, like the, you know, with Hugo Strange and everything. This to me is very much like a Cape Crusader version of an animated series episode. It's pretty much standalone. Yeah. It's, you know, a character that just for this series, and yeah, and that part I sort of just added to it for me.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. So yeah, I liked this one. I did like this one. I'm going B+. Cool. So there you go. The first 2 episodes of Cape Crusader season 2. I still have a ways to go, but I did that season 1 too. Is that, like, you know, you tore through them, and I I took my
I didn't.
time. I enjoyed the leisurely
The first
stroll.
time around, it took me longer to get through them because it dropped during the like smack bang in the middle of the Paris Olympics. So my TV viewing was spoken for a lot of the time. Whereas this time around, it's like, okay, this comes out on this date. My surgery's on this date. I want to have it watched, and I did.
Nice. Well, very cool. So season 2 is out there on Prime now, and like you said, I don't know if you wanted to touch on this again. There's been no news about season 3. They said they want to do it. They have ideas to do it, but it just hasn't been greenlit for season 3.
Yeah.
And that's because season 2 was always part of season
True.
1.
Yes,
They ordered 20 episodes. So yeah, that is very interesting. And yeah, I guess time will tell, like if enough people watch it that they think it is worth ordering another season.
I hope so. Because like I said, I really like this show. I think it's good.
Yeah. I think it'll be very telling if it doesn't get renewed.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
And if that were to happen, please go listen to the final 15 minutes of the last episode, and that's why.
Yeah. I'd love this to get a physical release too. I don't know if it's available overseas. It's definitely not available here, but I'd love it.
I don't think so.
I'd love for it to get a Blu-ray release.
I mean, I think that eventually that will probably happen. They usually get around to it. I just don't know when. But yeah, it'll be interesting. And it is interesting that right now they're kind of just saying, well, we don't know, you know? So we shall see. Well, more to come on that when the time comes. Like I said, coming up in just a few days, we've got Lanterns. And so looking forward to talking Green Lantern next week. But in the meantime, we have to check in with you fine feathered finks. Let's crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren, what is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
All right, still slowly making my way through many, many emails. Will we ever catch up? Probably not. I'm going to die, and you're going to be like, oh, there's one more here from Stuart from Guernsey, but Andy never got to it. Andy never read it. I love you, Stuart. Just kidding. All right, first one here is from Tom Fallows. It says, hey, guys, I'm enjoying the podcast as always, and looking forward to more DC goodness. Like you and Brendan, I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired of realistic and gritty Batman and would like a more comic book Batman, but is there room for a compromise of both? Nolan seemed to have this balance in Batman Begins. The only thing Nolan did was give a reason for Batman's origins and equipment, which made it more believable. Like, imagine a movie with a Batman in a Nolan Reeves world that is faced with villains that are more comic booky and watching him adapt to that challenge as his world and worldview changes around him. So he starts off armored. As the movie goes on, his suit becomes more traditional as he fights a penguin with trick umbrellas or a Joker with an acid-squirting flower. I believe this would give the best of both worlds for the fans who want realism and the fans who want more fantasy. Do you think there's room for both, or is the balance too much for one or the other? Tom. Thanks, Tom. All right. Interesting question, Brendan. What do you think? Is there room for both?
I think go back and listen to the last 15 minutes of the last episode. I mean, yeah, of course there is. Of course there is. And that's my problem with the Batman is we've had dark and gritty. We had it for the best part of a decade and it was amazing. 2/3 of it were absolutely brilliant. I don't need even more dark and gritty and realistic. It's already been done. Like, can we try something else, please? We were kind of there with Affleck. We had Batman in a world with aliens and supervillains and things like that, and Amazonian gods and gods of the sea. Like, let's just keep doing that. But again, make it like you've said. Like, it doesn't. You're not saying kidified. It doesn't. Not everything needs to be Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. But there is a happy balance there where these things can be made for everyone. And
yeah,
like I said in a private message to you the other day after listening to the episode and stuff, it's just like, by the time the Batman Part 2 comes out, Henry will be 7. I should be able to take my 7-year-old son to the Batman movie that comes out at the cinema that year, but I can't because, if it's, I wouldn't have even shown him the Batman by then because it's too mature for him, and not to mention too friggin' long. It's not going to hold his attention. And that sucks. It sucks that there'll be a Batman movie coming out in 2 years and I can't take my son.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Tom, I understand what you're saying here. And I even thought that, like, as the Batman ended, and if that's what we're talking about, I do think that they left it in a way where they absolutely could nudge it closer to a more comic booky aesthetic, but still kind of keep the grounded take that Reeves was doing. Yes, they could do that. I just don't think that there's any interest in doing that, which is why, so is there a happy medium between realistic and comic book? Absolutely. We were chatting earlier, Brendan, with Eric and Joe about people seem to think that it has to be Christopher Nolan or Joel Schumacher, and there's nothing in between, which is just nonsense. There's absolutely in between, and in between is where the magic could happen if anybody had the balls to do it.
I showed Henry
and
Batman
that's
89
what we're still waiting for.
a couple of weeks ago. Like, I'd say that's kind of in between. I mean, maybe a little bit too dark, but I wouldn't show him Batman Returns. but yeah, like, and he seemed to enjoy it. Like, I skipped past the part with what's his face getting fried into the skeleton. I just kind of quickly hit skip on that scene, and he didn't notice. But
yeah, I mean, and I think I've said it many times, is every time we get a new version of Batman, all it does is make me go, you know what? I think Tim Burton had it right. Like, he had just the right balance of like real fantasy, fun, but serious. And everyone else seems to have a problem with that balance. I think Batman Begins was awfully close.
Yeah, I reckon, 10, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, 10, 11-year-olds, like, that would have been fine. Like, again, I wouldn't show Henry Batman Begins for a few years yet. I mean, my brother was 11 when that came out, and he loved it. So, that's proof in the pudding right there. So,
yep. I mean, and I said it last week, I'll say it again. Like, I am not asking for the return of Schumacher. I am asking for a Batman movie in the vein of Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
And that should not be a tall order, and yet here we are.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Next one here is from Zach Brown. It says, greeting Batcasters, Zach here. I hope all is going well. I had a question regarding animation. In the mid-2000s, I believe right between the Batman and Batman the Brave and the Bold, producer James Tucker pitched an idea of making Batman No Man's Land into an animated series. I've heard the reason WB said no is because it was too dark for children. Do you think this idea could have worked if they had aired it on Cartoon Network Adult Swim? Personally, No Man's Land is such a long story, I think it could have worked in animation. Thanks always, Zach. P.S. I'm still waiting on Blue Devil. I'm about to give up hope. You know what, Zach? If anyone's going to give us Blue Devil, it will be James Gunn.
All the characters James Gunn has announced, it's fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, I'll be like, James Gunn, come here, let me talk. Don't care about authority, okay? Sorry about it. Don't care. Blue Devil, brother. You want to make a man happy? Give me some Blue Devil. Blue Devil could show up in Man of Tomorrow, and I wouldn't even blink, and I don't think anybody would. All right. Anyway, Batman No Man's Land as an animated series. Brendan, what do you think?
I think it shows the time that we were in when they passed on it because it was too dark for kids, and we've just done 2 episodes on the latest Batman animated show, and it is what it is, and we wouldn't show it to our kids. Look, I do think that could work as a long form series. Absolutely, like that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if these days it seems to be they want to do the 3-part movie thing, which I don't think it's worked yet. The 2-part movie thing worked for Long Halloween. I haven't bothered with the Justice League one from last year because everything you've said about it.
Crisis?
Yeah.
I almost want you to watch it.
But I'm looking forward to Nightfall to the point that I've actually I'm about a bit over halfway through the novelization of that story. So I've got the comics. I haven't read the trades in geez, it's got to be the best part of 18 years. But I've never read the book, and I've had it on my shelf forever. So I was like, you know what? Now's the time. The movie's about to come out, or part one at least. So I'm reading the novel, and yeah, it'd be cool to see, instead of doing the movie thing, make an animated series for one of those long form Batman stories. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it could be very cool. I just don't know how long it could go, but maybe that doesn't matter. You know, like Cape Crusader, 20 episodes. Like they could probably do a No Man's Land 20 episodes, and that could be really cool. So yeah, I think that would be fun.
Depends how far into the tie-in comics and stuff there were for that. You know, for a lot of these things, how far they want to go into those would dictate that, I guess.
Yeah. All right, moving forward, the next email is from Justin. It says, whoa. And this was, back a Comic-Con weekend. It says, whoa, the Lanterns trailer has proven my concerns wrong. I watched the Comic-Con panel, and it was a great 30-minute watch. Not sure if you saw, but Pierre, Fillion, and Chandler all said the oath together. It was a very cool moment. It was interesting to hear that Laura Linney will be playing a member of the Guardians, and it was super cool to see that the Manhunters will be in the show. I can't wait for this to blow up cosmically. Tom King teased that a big Lantern name will be dropped. That leads me to believe that it will be either Kilowog or Mogo. Anyway, my question is, do you find it odd that Gunn and Safran had no presence at the panel? For someone who's a studio head in an industry that thrives on buzz, he and Safran do not seem to be too keen on having public presence. I'm not comparing, but Snyder did leave the filming of Justice League to come and show the trailer back in 2016 and then fly right back to London. My point is, I know that Gunn is filming Man of Tomorrow, but a single day trip could have been doable. It could have been a great Hall H panel on Saturday afternoon with showcasing Lanterns, Clayface, and then teasing Man of Tomorrow, and maybe even a Batman tease. I wonder if they had known that the response to Supergirl would be, and they might have been there to generate some hype. They might. Anyway, hopefully they are there next year. Justin. Thanks, Justin. Well, Justin, I am glad you're psyched for Lanterns. We're a few days away, so the time has come. So yay. As for the question about Gunn and Safran not being at Comic-Con, Brendan, what do you think?
Well, a friend of ours and previous guest on the show, who isn't the biggest fan of Gunn, messaged me about, because didn't Gunn record like an introduction to the trailer, or the day before he recorded something saying that the trailer was coming?
Yes.
And the reaction from this person was typical Gunn and his ego. Even though he's not directing it, he has to be involved somehow. So for the people who don't like Gunn, him showing up to sort of head the Lanterns thing, it would have been damned if he did, damned if he didn't, I think. I think maybe just record.
Yeah.
But again, he didn't do nothing. Like he recorded that little minute, whatever it was. Like I said, what was it? Did he intro the trailer, or was it the day before?
I think it was
like
for the
he
trailer.
teased the trailer or something. Yeah, but he recorded something at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting point and question, Justin. I do think, like, could he have come? Yes. Especially because, like you said, Gunn, Safran tends to always kind of stay in the background, and he lets Gunn do most of the talking, which is what most producers do. Is we kind of go in the back and we make things work, and then we let the creative director stand out front and do the pizzazz. So, but as far as like Gunn, could he have come? Yeah, of course he could have. He could have taken a day, flew out, but they didn't have a big Hall H presentation. Like I said on the episode when I recapped Comic-Con, I have mixed feelings about that because it always felt like such an event. But breaking each project into a separate panel was kind of nice too. It took a lot of the pressure off. And I just think they weren't ready for a big hype. Like, they weren't going to make any announcements. The most they could have done is maybe show a sizzle for Man of Tomorrow. So I'm not mad that they did it the way they did it, but I completely understand your point of like, yeah, he could have. Because yes, you can certainly take a day off filming, give everyone the day off, and then fly in. So I hear what you're saying. Personally, I wasn't bothered by it, but yeah, I get it. All right, next question is from our old pal Stephen Marshall. It says, hey folks, hope you're doing well. So how about those trailers for Clayface and Lanterns? I have to say I've been skeptical on both projects, but these recent trailers did wonders for me. But I have a question. What, if any, impact do you think these projects will have on the greater universe? For me, I feel like while both could be wins, it's all still riding on Man of Tomorrow. Also, with the recent news of the Paramount WB acquisition being delayed, do you think this changes anything for James Gunn and future projects? It really has felt like they've been hanging on to announcing much of anything post Man of Tomorrow, but with the delay, they can't afford to hang on much longer, surely. I could see Gunn getting an extension and hopefully pushing Batman the Brave and the Bold into production. Thoughts? Lately, with the Batman Part 2 being delayed yet again, do you think interest in the Reeves-verse could dwindle? I just feel like the gap from the first one has been so long that the general audience might not care anymore and wonder if Part 2 will actually be Reeves' swan song. Any thoughts there? Take care and keep up the great work. Kind regards, Steven. All right, so I guess the first question is that even if Lanterns and Clayface are big wins, do you feel it will have a greater impact on the universe? And it sounds like you don't mean like in-universe as far as like the in-universe story. It sounds like you mean more just like the general perception of the universe, if I'm reading this right. What do you think, Brendan? What do you think, Brendan?
In some aspects of fandom, maybe, but for the large portion of the audience, no. Like, all they're going to know is that there was a Superman movie that was pretty good, and there's a Supergirl movie that was shit. Like, I don't think a HBO series and a very niche horror movie is going to change that.
Yeah, I would have to agree, just realistically. And we talked about this, I think. Funny, another email from Steven a couple weeks ago when he was like, oh, do you think the disappointment in Peacemaker ruined the momentum? And I was like, no. Like, I don't think anybody was counting on Peacemaker to, determine whether they're happy with the current DCU. And same, like, Lanterns and first responses are starting to come out. They're very positive. That's great. I'm excited about it. Even if it is incredibly well received, it's not going to play that much. I don't think that much of a role in the excitement around the universe. And same thing with Clayface, especially because Clayface just feels so disconnected from the greater universe. I agree. It is going to be riding on Man of Tomorrow. And like I said, not that long ago, I was like, listen, TV shows are great. They're a great bonus. And if you love them, that's awesome. For most people, the perception and excitement for the universe all rests with the movies. And even though Clayface is a movie, again, it just feels so detached from the universe that I don't think you can really put too much on that. And so it's going to all come down to Man of Tomorrow.
Yep, agreed.
As for the Paramount WB acquisition, is that why they haven't announced anything? We mentioned it earlier. Who knows? I hope not. Because WB still has to keep making stuff before this merger happens. Maybe it doesn't happen. Like, they still have bills to pay and they still got money to make, so they can't just freeze and wait. And that includes anything DC.
Yep.
I'll tell you, announcing a Batman movie would really go a long way, but hey, what do I know?
Yep.
And then the fun one at the end. Do you think that the delay in the Batman Part 2 will result in people losing interest in the Reeves verse? Could this be his swan song?
Do I have to answer this?
I mean, you don't have to.
I mean,
do you want me to answer it? Do you want me to answer it first?
Yeah, okay.
I don't have to. Interest is already dwindled.
Yes, thank you.
Again, every new announcement about the Batman Part 2 comes with giggles because of how ridiculous it's gotten. Aside from the super fans who are like, I don't care. A shot of Batman in the snow made me hard. No, like it's been so long. It's become kind of funny. And yeah, like I think that a lot of people will have moved on by then. A lot of people already have moved on. So, there was a rumor last week. It was already debunked that they were going to shoot 2 and 3 together. I liked that rumor personally. Yes. I'm like, listen, if that's what they've been doing for the past 4 years, like, great. do 2 and 3 together. You know what? The fans get their trilogy. Like Reeves gets to tell his story, and and then we're not waiting. But if like that's not the case, are we really going to wait another 6-7 years between 2 and 3? That's preposterous. So yeah, like all rationale is that part 2 should be it. The only reason it wouldn't be is if A, it makes $1 billion, and B, Reeves can churn out a 3 in a couple of years instead of another 6.
I don't think I've been on since the delay was announced, or if I have, we didn't discuss it. We were talking about Supergirl. For me, the perfect little, what would you call, like a microcosm, whatever, like, is our group chat. So it's you, me, Jamie, Eric, and Joe. And not that he's in the chat, but I'm just going to throw Anthony Caruso in there, because you got a wide spectrum of fans who love Batman and various degrees of hot and cold on the Batman movie from 2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and I, we do Holy BatCast together, like with massive Batman fans. Not for us. Couldn't care less if they make the sequel. Am resenting Matt Reeves and this movie because it appears to me that that's the reason why we're not getting any momentum on Brave and the Bold. And it's pissing me off, to be perfectly honest. Eric and Joe don't mind. Jamie's kind of in the middle. Eric and Joe, they like it more than what we did, particularly Eric from memory. And Caruso loves it. Like, it's his second favorite Batman movie of all time. Carries on about it often, how much he loves it, thinks it's perfect, blah, 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 blah. Caruso, from the time this announcement was made, has been posting memes. We've been messaging each other, and he thinks it's bullshit, and he's over it and ridiculous. Eric and Joe were both, the day that it was announced, were both like Eric was like, mate, like, I'm done. Like, this is ridiculous. And then you and I are just like, for the love of Christ, can we move on, please? That shouldn't be the case for the next big screen Batman. It just shouldn't. You've taken someone who loved that first one. He's over it. How do you think you and I feel? We've been over it for the last 4 years. It's nuts. And I've been saying, I don't understand. And this isn't a personal jab or anything. Like, I don't understand the reverence and the chain that Matt Reeves is getting. Like, he's not Nolan.
No. Yep.
He made some cool Planet of the Apes movies, and that's kind of it. And his Batman movie was mixed. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, box office wise, people can say it came out during COVID and stuff, but it was never going to make $1 billion. And
2 months later, Doctor Strange made more.
Yes. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get this, like, pedestal that the guy's on. I really don't. It blows my mind. He's not a Spielberg. He's not a Nolan. He's not a Christ. Even James Wan, like, has proven himself more than what Matt Reeves has. It's incredibly frustrating. And you said it so well at the end of the last episode, is 20 years ago, you could argue till you blew in the face as who's the bigger superhero, Batman or Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's nearly made $1 billion in 7 days or 9 days, whatever it is now. And there was a time when Batman did that too. And at the moment, Batman wouldn't even be in the top 5, I don't think. And that's friggin' sad.
You know what was really fun is Batman 89 had the biggest opening weekend of all time until it was broken by Batman Returns, until that was broken by Batman Forever. And then that was broken. I mean, it was broken multiple times by multiple movies, but then Spider-Man 1 came out and had the biggest opening weekend of all time. And then The Dark Knight had the biggest opening weekend of all time. And now Spider-Man 8, whatever, you know what I mean, came out and had the biggest opening weekend of all time. It used to be, they took turns.
Yep.
And it has not been true for Batman since 2008.
No. Because even though The Dark Knight Rises did very well, it didn't
it
do the opening weekend thing, did it?
No. But that opening weekend was nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
It's everyone can't be the rule breaker, but you understand my point.
I do.
Is that in superhero movies, sure things were Batman, Spider-Man, and the Avengers, and Batman right now is unfortunately not there.
No.
Anyway, let's move on. Next one comes from Adil. It says, "Hey guys, I hope you've been doing well. To kick things off, the Batman Part 2 was delayed to February of 2028, and all the reactions I had to the news was an indifferent shrug, and I enjoyed the movie more than you guys."
Proving our point.
Yeah. At this rate of delay, I might get married and start a family. We got perfectly serviceable movies such as Sonic 2 and 3, and now possibly 4 before getting this movie. The trend of a sequel taking years in the industry has to stop. I understand delays in effects-heavy or animated projects, as those things need time. However, you don't need 5 years for a movie to be made, generally. Bring back TV shows with 24 episodes and a yearly release schedule. Not everything is prestige TV, and none of this Stranger Things Season 5 BS. As you can see, I'm very calm about my feelings regarding this topic. I've decided to go into Lanterns completely blind, and I've not seen any material regarding it, and I've blocked all mentions of it, and will tell my honest thoughts regarding when I see it, so that would be fun. The Nightfall trilogy was something I was looking forward to until I heard it's the same team that did Crisis. And boy, was Crisis a hot, steaming pile of garbage, and it's dampened my excitement to apathy. These strings of animated movies since the DCAU ended showed me how much I missed the yearly movies and consistency that the DCAU had, and was wondering whether you guys will do a retrospective on the DCAU as a whole. On a completely unrelated topic, I was reading a BBC article and had a jump scare when I saw the familiar name of Jamie Drewley and was very...
I know exactly where this is going.
And was very amused to read that the self-professed NFL guy was enjoying football, or as soccer, as you guys call it. It's a welcome call to Jamie to join us and be a Manchester United. They're a great team, and we hope you choose us. Wish you guys all the best and all the love in the world, Adil. All right, thanks, Adil. Wow. So... There you go. He likes the Batman.
Last one first, because when that article dropped, it was a very big moment in our group chat.
That was hilarious. Yeah, so there's an article.
He didn't tell us it was coming.
Right. And someone sent it to me. It was a listener who sent it to me. It wasn't a deal. Someone else sent it to me and goes, "Is this Jamie?" And I was like, "Wait, what the hell?" And so yes, Jamie was featured in an article by the BBC as a football-loving American who has embraced the World Cup. And that's hilarious. And yeah, so I was like, wait, what the hell, guys? Did anyone know about this?
There were many GIFs and emojis and stuff shared. It was very, very funny.
Yeah, so that was crazy. Good on Jamie. Love it. Anyway, so yeah, seems like venting about the Batman Part 2. We covered it. Agreed. We know.
Skip back 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then the DCAU, like doing a full retrospective.
That's a lot.
Whew, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Movies over a lot of years.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe in chunks or something. Like it would be fun to like look back at all those, because it's crazy how many movies we got. I just would have to do it. I'd have to figure out a way to make it manageable, because doing it all is a lot. I feel like we said even once, like, we should rank them all.
Even then.
But even then, like, I would want to do it right. So I would like want to watch them all. And like, I have a ranking of them, but like, yeah, that's a lot of homework. So I'm not saying never. I'm just saying I would have to find a way to make it digestible.
We do have a lot of time between the next live action Batman movie.
This is true. All right, let's move on. Next message is from Weston Craig. It says, "Hey guys, in Detective Comics recently, it was mentioned that a version of the Batplane has an in-flight movie entertainment system for long flights. What do you think Bruce Wayne's top 5 comfort films are? I think one has to be It's a Wonderful Life because of Batman the Animated Series. Thanks, Weston. Thanks, Weston. Well, there you go. What a nice, fun, random question. Bruce Wayne's comfort films.
I don't see Bruce Wayne as someone who consumes popular media.
I know the answer.
Like, I mean, obviously
It's
Zorro.
Okay, sure. You don't think he has PTSD from watching Zorro?
I don't know, but would the PTSD just like drive him more, like get him, essentially get him fired up to when he lands to carry out the mission that he's on.
All right, so Zorro.
But yeah, I mean, It's a Wonderful Life is a cool throwback to the animated series.
It's a good one.
I don't know, like
I think he would like The Shadow with Alec Baldwin because because he would kind of laugh and be like, "Oh, reminds me of home."
Using real movies, or are we using sort of in
I don't
DC
know.
universe? Because again, like Grey Ghost, like.
But his number one comfort movie is Annie because he's also a little orphan.
Oh, Jesus.
And it is a hard knock life.
That is terrible.
Thank you. There you go. There's some answers for you. I don't know if there are enough answers, but they'll go. All right. Next email is from Devin. It says, "Hey, Andy and Brendan, I rewatched Suicide Squad for the 10th anniversary, and then I re-listened to your Holy BatCast review of it. Jamie, we miss you. I was wondering if your opinions on it have changed in the last decade. I still thought it was decent, and I missed the DCEU optimism that I had in 2016. Thanks for all you do, Devin." Thanks, Devin. Well, there you go. You were one of the people who made me do last week's episode, so I hope you enjoyed that. I already shared my thoughts on the last episode, which is, for the most part, I feel the same. Again, while being a little less forgiving of certain things, but I still had fun with it. Brendan, you rewatched it too, so why don't you share?
You told me you were going to do a retrospective on it because I couldn't record. So with that in mind, I checked it out on Sunday morning. I hadn't watched it. Jeez. I did a full live action Batman movie rewatch when Henry was born, and I think I watched it then. So it's been at least 5 years, but it may be longer since I've watched Suicide Squad.
Okay.
It's one of those ones because of the reputation it has online now. It's sort of it's hard to not have that in the back of your head when you go in to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
at least it was for me anyway.
Yeah.
I had a good time with it. I don't think I like it as much as I did 10 years ago. Because I can see the cracks now. Like when it first came out, I don't think we knew that the trailer house did an edit and everything. But yeah, that, like, as you said, that first 20 minutes, like, you can absolutely tell it's chaotic. And the amount, even I was just like, Jesus Christ, I don't remember there being so many songs, like so many needle drops in this first chunk of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that part stood out to me. The whole, like the beam in the sky thing, she's building a machine. Okay, to do what? Like, we don't really get, there's not much of an explanation there. I think back in the day, and in the 10 years since it came out, my defending of the film was, I like going on a mission with this ragtag bunch of characters, and the rest of it's not really important to me. Yeah, to a point, I would still say that. But I think the same as you, I'm less forgiving of it. But I didn't dislike it. And yeah. I don't think I said this to you in our messages since you dropped that episode. If I hadn't watched it on Sunday, listening to that episode would have made me want to rewatch it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, listening to you guys talk about it, I'm like, yeah. I was sort of like agreeing and everything. And absolutely, if I hadn't watched it, I would have by now. So, yeah, I still think it's a fun movie. It's just one that I don't revisit very often. And it's the whole, like, the Bruce Wayne thing of, shut it down, or me and my friends will. And, like, it kind of, again, it's all this setup that we don't get any payoff for. And it's sometimes that in the moment, like when I watched it again on Sunday morning, is like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, it's a big part of the reason why I haven't watched Black Adam again, because it's just like that ending with Henry Cavill. It's like, oh, but for nothing. And yeah, it's a fun time to just switch your brain off. And honestly, since I last watched it, I've really gone off Will Smith since The Slap. I really enjoyed him in that. I forgot how good he is in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like he and Harley together, and actually something you guys didn't mention in your review, like you talked about their chemistry. They'd done a movie together before Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
It was called Focus, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they had that chemistry there, which was great. And no, it's good. I don't know how often I'll revisit it, but it's a fun time, and there's nothing wrong with being fun.
Right. Yep. All that's fair. Cool. Well, Devin followed this up. He says, "Hey guys, sorry for the double email, but I was feeling inspired after rewatching Suicide Squad and re-listening to review. I rewatched Birds of Prey and The Suicide Squad, and I re-listened to those reviews. I was wondering if your opinions on them have changed. Do you ever go back and rewatch any of the three, and how would you rank them? Also, as Andy said in 2021, hashtag bring back Boomerang. Best Devin Stanley." Thanks, Devin. That's right. I do. Yeah. So it's been a minute since I've rewatched Birds of Prey, but it's more recent than like when it came out. So I've certainly revisited a couple times since it came out. I rewatched The Suicide Squad like a year ago, like not long ago at all, because I kept meaning to, and then finally I was like, yeah, I want to rewatch it.
It's got to be around a year or so for me too.
Yeah, and I don't remember why. Maybe it was when Peacemaker. Maybe it was when Peacemaker season 2 was out. I rewatched it. So
that's exactly when it was. Yes.
So I don't remember how I reviewed those, but for the most part, I think that I'm probably pretty much the same. I mean, I mentioned it a little bit on the last episode where like, I think The Suicide Squad is still probably a better movie than Suicide Squad, but for some reason I still like Suicide Squad better.
It's the characters.
Yeah, it is. I think that's it. It's the characters. And I also think that like, there's something about it that just feels more epic than The Suicide Squad, at least to me. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it just feels more like an event movie than the Suicide Squad does. But when I rewatched the Suicide Squad, I did like it more than I remember liking it in 2021. So I did enjoy that, I think, more on the rewatch, which is good. And Birds of Prey is interesting because I feel like the things I liked about it then, I like even more now. And the things that I don't like about it, I like even less now. So it's probably a bit of a wash.
I need to rewatch Birds of Prey, and since watching Suicide Squad and listening to the podcast the other day, it has been in my mind of like, I need to rewatch that because I don't think I've watched it since it came home, or I haven't watched it all the way through. So that's coming up. That's 6 years. Jesus Christ, that's 6 years. Yeah, I need to revisit that, and I probably will sooner rather than later.
Nice. As for ranking them, honestly, I'd probably... I
mean, you'd have to go by the way you ranked them in your overall DCU, wouldn't you?
Oh, you're right. I probably have it in here. So let's see what I did. Thanks for the reminder. I know what I was about.
That's where I'm going.
I know what I was about to say. Now let's see if I'm consistent with myself. But why don't you share yours first, Brendan?
I'm just trying to find it. Hang on.
Oh, come on now.
All right. DCEU ranking. Okay.
Oh, well, what's funny is they're all right there next to each other. Mine are in a row. Yeah. So how are yours in a row?
So in a row, it's Suicide Squad followed by The Suicide Squad followed by Birds of Prey.
Same. Match.
Okay.
Matchy.
And those three are on the bottom row of...
Me too.
Yeah.
With Justice League theatrical and dead last. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there you go. We're exactly the same.
So Suicide Squad was 3 stars. The Suicide Squad was 3 stars. And Birds of Prey was 3 stars. So I guess I rated them all the same. It was just, it's the I'm looking at the shelf. Which one am I going to grab?
Right. Yep. I think we're the same. All right, cool. Well, moving on. Next email is from Eddie. It says, "Hey guys, hope you're well. It's been a minute since I wrote. I've heard rumors that James Gunn's contract runs out in the middle of next year and that he may hang up his boots as creative controller of the DCU. He hinted in interviews that he finds it difficult juggling the work. If he were to leave, could you see anyone replacing him? And if so, who? Secondly, do you think you guys might ever cover the Justice League JLU animated series? There's some gem episodes in there, and it would be cool to hear you guys talk about some DC characters who deserve more love, like The Question or Huntress. Also, Andy, I'm loving the video content on YouTube. A quick shout out to any listeners who haven't had a chance to check some of the new bits out. They are well worth going out of your way to watch. All the best, Eddie from Dublin." Thanks, Eddie. That's very kind. Glad you're watching the YouTube videos. I appreciate that. All right. First question. What if James Gunn... I don't think James Gunn has any interest in quitting. I really don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he does. I think that he lives for this stuff.
I think if he leaves, it won't be his decision.
Yeah, that could be true. Or if he leaves, it will be his decision begrudgingly.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He'll be forced into it.
Like, if the Paramount merger goes through and he doesn't like his new boss, I could see that being a reason he leaves, but he will not want to leave. But I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But who could replace him? I have no idea, Eddie. Brendan, who could replace him?
I don't know, man.
I know, right? Me.
Yeah. Get someone who knows what they're talking about.
I'll take the job.
I genuinely don't know. I mean, I know some like cool directors who I'd like to do some stuff in the DC universe, but in terms of like heading up the whole thing, like, I mean, my brain says James Wan, but I don't know.
I know that's the name that came to my mind as well, just because I mean, obviously I'm a huge fan. And he helped oversee the Conjuring universe.
That's the thing. The Conjuring universe is so good. Like it doesn't get as much credit as it deserves as being like
right. It's kind of
in
the
world of shared cinematic universes. The Conjuring is freaking up there in terms of consistent quality. And then you apply that to the fact that he gave us the highest grossing DC movie ever, which still blows my mind that it's Aquaman.
And Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom rocks. I'm sorry. No movie has been more unfairly maligned than Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom rocks. I watch it with Carly, and it just got caught up in the nonsense of a dying universe, and it's BS, and I'm mad at people talking about it like it's some terrible movie. It's not. It's awesome.
So, I mean, you take that into account and merge it with, what he's done with the cinematic universe already. He's hard to go past.
Yeah. I mean, off the top of our heads, it's the only one I can think of. So
yeah. My brain just keeps going Christopher McQuarrie as well, but that's just because I want him to direct a DC movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And then covering Justice League or JLU, I would love to. I think we've only ever covered the Christmas episode, but yeah, those shows are great, and I would love to cover them. It's just a matter of when. But it's a good call.
To me, it's like I'd love to do them, but like because it's a Batman show, like, do we need to focus on the Batman centric animated series first? Like, would next be Brave and the Bold?
Yeah,
for us?
yeah.
And once we've done that, and then what? Do Beware the Batman in one episode, just get them out of the way,
right?
And then we can circle back and do Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah,
but then do we need to do Superman the animated series?
Well,
I mean, like,
at least Batman's in the Justice League shows. I wouldn't do.
True.
Yeah. All right. Next email is from Austin. It says, "Hey guys, I just finished watching Caped Crusader, and man, what a crazy show!" And so, in so many ways, this thing feels like a fever dream, and so much of it, and so much as it's what a lot of Batman fans have dreamed of, seeing Batman in the 1940s facing classic gangsters. But in other ways, and I know that it isn't fair to compare it, it really makes me appreciate all that Batman the animated series did for not only. — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no punctuation in here. All that Batman the animated series did for not only — Sorry, there's no pu It isn't fair to compare it, but it really makes me appreciate all that Batman the Animated Series did for not only the choices it made, but the choices it chose not to make. I know you guys are going to have a bunch of thoughts, and I look forward to hearing them. P.S. I'm currently listening to your Suicide Squad episode, particularly the part where you're talking about the Ben Affleck Batman cameo. Hopefully, the DCU will begin to sprinkle in mini cameos and Batman throughout future movies. I know it's always in the back of my head when I watch a new DC movie. I wonder what Batman is doing right now. It would be cool if there was a gradual buildup, especially if they're doing an interconnected story. Thanks, Austin. And yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying about Cape Crusader is that it's, I think I'm with you. Is that it's such a weird mixed bag of like there's some really cool things, and yeah, a lot of fans have been like, oh, how cool would it be to do like Batman in the 40s without all the technology, but then it makes some really weird choices. So yes, for sure, we're watching the same show, and I mean, every version of Batman makes me go, man, Batman the Animated Series is a masterpiece. So I'm with you on that.
See, I didn't mention this before, but I've been thinking it, well, for a while. I wonder if it's because of Batman the Animated Series that Cape Crusader is taking the swings on some of the characters, that because it's both are Bruce Timm, and the animated series is held in such high regard and gave us arguably, it gave us definitive versions of characters that didn't have them before, like say Mr. Freeze, maybe Clayface to a degree, or at least brought it more into the the broader audience's zeitgeist. It gave us Harley Quinn. Look what she's done. Like, if you then ask that guy to do another animated series, what does he do? Does he repeat himself? Does he run the risk of trying to do the same the same sort of show and it not be as good, or does he do something completely different? And I think that's why we're getting the show that we are. I could be completely wrong, but that's just in my brain of just like, and that's, I mean, any Batman animated show is compared to Batman the Animated Series, and this one has gone back to the guy who gave us Batman the Animated Series. Mm-hmm. Do we just want season 5 of that, which we can't have because, so many of the voice actors, particularly Kevin Conroy, has passed? And is that why we're getting what we are? And if that is the reason, again, I think that's why I can roll with it. I think it's compounded by the fact that, like you've said, everything else at the moment is Elseworlds or a take and everything else. It's just like, I don't know. That's why it doesn't bother me so much with this. Like, if this is what they were doing with the mainstream movies, and Riddler is Riddler in in this, and Penguin's a woman, that kind of thing, like maybe it would bother me more. But that's why I don't know. I think it just doesn't bother me with this show, and that honestly, the reason I just gave, I think that's why.
Yeah, that has certainly crossed my mind too, because it's Bruce Timm, and it's like, I mean, in a lot of ways, he's been given a blank check of like, just do whatever you want. And I also think that it's not just he doesn't want to repeat himself. He's like, no, I can do whatever I want, and I'm going to. But if that's truly why he's doing it, I think that there is plenty of room for reinvention of just being like, oh, it's a stripped down 1940s noir, and how do the villains act and look in that time frame with those limitations? There's plenty of room for reinvention there. I just think that they overdid it. But I hear what you're saying, and I do wonder how much of it is that. So yeah.
Because you look at the other side of Bruce Timm, and you have, Batman nailing Batgirl on a roof. You got Harley Quinn farting in the Batmobile.
Well, this is kind of my point, though. Like, that's my point. Is like, he's been given carte blanche, it seems, because it really seems like J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves, their names are just on it, but like, it gives them the clout for Bruce Timm to kind of go wild. And we've seen what happens when Bruce Timm can go wild. And he goes a little too wild. So anyway, yeah, very possible. As for the other thing about, after seeing like Ben Affleck's Batman pop up in Suicide Squad, I sure hope that would happen in the new movies. Me too, Austin. I would love Batman to cameo
Absolutely.
in the new DC movies. I think that would be awesome.
Well, I mean, we're 2 movies in and we had Superman cameo. Like,
Yeah. Well, I can't believe it, but there's only one email left, and I'm just gonna let's get it done, and I'm gonna be happy with the clean mailbox for a minute. I didn't think we'd get there, but we're gonna get there. Okay, it's from Stephen Marshall again, and this is in response to Suicide Squad. He said, "I hope you're doing well. I just got done listening to your Suicide Squad 10-year episode. How has it been that long? I really enjoyed listening to Andy and Mike talk about it. My 2 cents with the film is much like Zack Snyder, although not to that level. David Ayer got screwed over. I can't help but wonder what would have happened if his cut had come out. Same with if we had gotten the extended BVS in theaters closer to what the Ultimate Edition was. It just reminds me further what a frustration being a DC fan is, as WB always messes with the films. Even going back to the Salkins in the 70s and 80s and how they did the same to Superman 2. They were literally shown what not to do there, but they still make the same mistake. We've even seen it with Superman and Supergirl, where you can clearly see that stuff has been cut. With Supergirl, personally too, I felt that the 2 deleted scenes that were released would have benefited the movie. I think we all know why these things happen, and they don't just happen in comic book movies, but it's really frustrating to see it happen over and over again. I just hope, much like Zack got the Snyder cut, that one day we will see the Ayer cut. With the Ayer cut of what we know, it seems like it was a much more character-focused film with some interesting stuff being removed. Like I always say, I think it's harsh to judge Leto's Joker based on the studio cut, as they removed and reshot so much of his stuff that he barely even feels like a character. I'd say that he and Enchantress were the biggest casualties of the changes overall. Do you think we'll ever see the Ayer cut? Anyway, sorry for the long rant. I just wanted to give some thoughts on the movie and the frustrations of being a DC fan. Take care. Kind regards, Steven. Thanks, Steven. Oh, I mean, well, we share your frustration. We talked about that earlier. Being a DC fan is choosing a life of pain and then continuing to choose it on and on and on.
And sliding doors moments and what ifs.
Yep.
I do actually have an opinion on this one.
Go for it.
I don't think the Ayer cut being released would have made a difference because that is coming off the back of, like he said, Snyder's version of BVS being released in cinemas, like essentially the director's cut being released in cinemas. No, because the issue with the director's cut of BVS is, yes, for the people who love it, it fleshes out the story more. And yes, the story does overall make more sense because of that, but it's more of the tone of what people didn't like.
Yes.
The tone is still exactly the same. Yes, it's a better movie, but it's more of what general audiences hated. And it, if the rumors are true about the Ayer cut, it sort of was more in the realm of what had come before. And it would have just been, again, more of what people didn't like from the previous 2 movies, particularly the previous movie being BVS. I don't doubt it would have been a better movie, like the BVS director cut is. But again, it's just more of what people didn't like, and that's the problem, and has always been the issue of BVS. Of like, I really, really enjoy it, but I've said it how many times on this podcast, like the first meeting of Batman and Superman on the big screen shouldn't have been, again, like you say, it should have been a movie for everyone, and it absolutely wasn't, and it should have been. And that's where the problems, it just snowballed from there.
Yeah. I actually completely agree with that. Is like, again, yes, the Ultimate Edition is a better movie. Do I think that if that was released in theaters, everyone would have loved it? No, of course not, for all the reasons you said. And same with Suicide Squad. But I even said it last episode where I was like, this movie's the best when it slows down and feels like a real movie. And I feel like that's what the Ayer cut would have felt more like. So I do think that it would have been a better movie. Do I think it would have been better received? Maybe a little bit, but probably not. I don't think it would have been so different that it would have been like this home run crowd pleaser versus what we ended up getting in the theater. I don't think it would have been. Yeah, I don't think it would have been that different. But I would love to see it, especially again, as I've said in the past, like with the score restored and everything, I don't think we ever will. I think that everyone has moved on, at this point.
I think if the pandemic had have carried on for another, say, 2 years to the point that it was in, say, 2021, and given the success that it seemed that Zack Snyder's Justice League had, because it was all anyone was talking about for a month or two there. Maybe they would have. They were like, shit, this really worked. Let's go do it for Suicide Squad. I think that would have been the only time in which that would have been possible. Even then would have been a big question mark, but
yeah. So I would love to see it. I just don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I don't know. I saw some behind the scenes videos of Leto's Joker, and I'm not sure the haircut would have made people like that either.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for sharing, Steven. I don't think there's any other questions in there. Nope. Just, all right, cool. Well, look at that. I'm closing the Wayne Manor mailbox. If you've got something for next time, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Right now, I am just going to be excited that it is empty for a moment. Woo! Thanks, Brendan. Good job.
Not a problem.
All right. Well, guess what? Let's wrap this thing up. It's time to go. But it was fun. We talked some Cape Crusader. We talked the changing slate of DC Studios. We answered emails. A good time was had by all. Thanks for joining, Brendan.
Mate, not a problem. I'm here. And if I'm available, I will always be here to record with you.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll be around next week to talk some Green Lantern. Anyway, anywhere else people can find you? I think mostly just here, right? These days.
Yeah, and the Real Fans groups on Facebook and on Letterboxd.
Awesome. Well, I already told you guys where to find me, but thank you as always for joining us and for downloading or streaming the show. Please do follow so you never miss an episode. If you love the show, something else you can do that I would love is just leave a nice review. A 5-star review goes a long way. It really helps us out and it makes me feel good. That would be awesome. Again, find the show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's always at Holy BatCast. And you can send anything to the Wayne Manor mailbox at holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And that will do it. On behalf of Brendan, Ibe, and Andy, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for. We were talking about the frustration and the pain of being a DC fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you just have to just keep feeling that pain until eventually you give up and you turn your Batman podcast into a Spider-Man one. Do you need a potty break now or are you okay?
All
right.